Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence and welcome back to another video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance by the company Rirana, and this one is called Vanilla Tobacco, so stay tuned. Now, before I begin the video, I do want to disclose that this fragrance was sent to me for review by the company, and so all opinions will remain my own, but I wanted to make sure that you knew that. So they actually reached out to me on Instagram. They asked me if I would be interested in reviewing one of their fragrances, and as a matter of fact, full disclosure, this was a few months ago, and so I do want to apologize to the company. I've just been super busy, a lot of things going on in my life on a personal level, and so thank you so much for bearing with me. But I did get it, and they also sent me a bunch of samples, and they have some really good fragrances. And so this is the one that I actually picked. I picked it blindly because I read the note breakdown and I thought that it was going to smell similar to another fragrance that I own, but they definitely defied my expectations. So I'm excited to tell you what I think this one smells like. This is a company that is based out of Malaysia, and I know that they can be purchased at Door Perfumes. So if you are interested, as I'm reviewing the fragrance, if anything captures your attention or your interest and you want to go out there and sample it, I'm going to leave some links down below to where you can find it, and they are in the $100 range. Another thing that I found kind of interesting too, I was looking it up online, and it says that their fragrances are concentrated with 60 to 70% of oil. That is super high, and I thought Parfum Aroma was high at 40%. I've never seen 60 to 70% before, so that's pretty nuts. But it definitely is radiating off this test strip that I have here, so I'm excited to tell you what I think in terms of the smell. Let's go ahead and start things off with the presentation. So the box for this one has a matte black finish on it. It says Rirana Parfum on the front here and the size and concentration at the bottom. And although it says Eau de Parfum, this is actually stronger than Extrait de Parfum according to industrial standards. The box opens up just like this, and it reveals a silhouette of the bottle on the inside where the bottle rests. The back of the box has the name of the fragrance and the size, concentration, all of the notes, the olfactive family, and the year in which it was produced. The bottle has a little tassel on it that contains the name of the company, and the distribution on the atomizer is nice and wide. Let's go ahead and continue with the smell. So as soon as this fragrance opens up, you will get the namesake of this perfume. It is a sweet fragrance. You're going to get some vanilla. However, I must urge you, if you are a fan of Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford, do not blind buy this one. And the reason I say that is because they smell nothing alike. So I must urge you, do not purchase this one if you are a fan of Tobacco Vanille. There is a chance and an odd that you will like this one, of course, but it is a very differently composed composition. It's structured in a very different way. Even a lot of the notes utilized are, I would venture to say, different from Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. Whenever I smell Tobacco Vanille, I get more of like a Cavendish tobacco. And this one, it's more of like a tobacco leaf. And so it has a smooth quality about it, but nevertheless, you are also going to get the vanilla in this one. So there is a nice sweetness in here, but I think it's offset by like a tropical floral nuance. And the funny thing is that there are no florals listed in this note breakdown. As a matter of fact, they have the notes written on the back of the box here. And so there's vanilla, there's tobacco, cacao, and tonka bean. Yeah, I get a creaminess, and yes, I do perceive a bit of tonka bean in the base and like the 5 to 6 hour mark when I wore it on my skin. But ultimately, there's some sort of tropical floral component in here that is not disclosed. I don't know if it's ylang ylang or frangipani or something of that nature. It's not heady and it's not sharp in any way, but I definitely pick up on that floral nuance. As it starts to dry down, yes, the creaminess does start to come through, and despite the fact that this one has cacao in it, it doesn't smell powdery in any way. So it's not going to smell like cocoa powder or anything like that. The vanilla that's utilized in here, it's not a transparent vanilla like Vanille Insensé by Atelier Cologne or Spiritu Double Vanille by Guerlain. The vanilla that's used in here is very faint, and I think it plays an equal role with the other notes utilized therein. And so if I can go ahead and classify it myself, I would say this is almost like a floral oriental fragrance. Perhaps a little bit of patchouli in the base. You have those floral nuances, a little bit of vanilla. It's not a true floral. It's not a solid floral. I think there's a lot more going on in here, and there's a complexity to it that I can't quite put my finger on, but it is definitely on the sweet side. But I just personally have a hard time classifying it as a gourmand. All in all, I do think it's a very pleasant fragrance, and I think it does take more of like an indie approach. And I don't know if that's because of the balance of the different ingredients, or because, you know, the subconscious association with this being an up-and-coming indie/niche brand that I'm calling this an indie fragrance, or maybe it's just the really high, you know, concentration in that it's kind of rugged and in your face. But this one, it is a nice scent. It's very pleasant. But keep in mind, personally, my nose perceives on the presence of some florals in here that are not disclosed in the note breakdown, and it kind of puts it on like a Tom Ford Soleil Blanc, but not as tropical smelling. I don't mean to say that they smell the same. They're very, very different, but there is some aspect about this that kind of provides a creaminess to it. Again, could be the tonka bean, could be something else, but all in all, it's a very pleasant scent, and I think it's one that can be worn very comfortably. Personally, I did not get any compliments wearing this one. I wore it around my wife a couple of times. She didn't say anything, and so just want to disclose that. But all in all, pleasant scent. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I do find this to be a pretty unique scent because, like I said before, I thought that I was going to be able to compare it to another more popular niche fragrance, and ultimately, that did not happen. In terms of the overall smell, I do think it's pleasant. However, it's not a mainstream mass-marketed fragrance. So if you're expecting something along the lines of like a Mr. Burberry or Dior Sauvage or Bleu de Chanel, that's really not what you're going to get here. In terms of longevity, the longevity was stellar. I got 8 to 9 hours on my skin. Projection was within an arm's length, I want to say. It never radiated beyond an arm's length, but the projection lasted for a good 2 to 3 hours, and it didn't really become a skin scent until like the 7th or 8th hour of application. So the performance on this one is excellent, and maybe that is because they use 60 to 70% oils in their fragrances. Man, that's really high. In terms of the versatility, I do find this one to be pretty versatile. It's interesting because, you know, in terms of the notes that are used, you want to wear this one in the colder weather because it seems like it's going to be a very dense gourmand, but because of the presence of those florals that my nose is picking up on, I would even go as far as saying you can wear this one in the spring. I probably just wouldn't wear this one in the dead of summer, which unfortunately is the season that we're fast approaching right now. I'm actually filming this video on May 25th, 2019. In terms of the presentation, I like how they kind of take like an indie approach to it. The presentation is quite nice, very different from other fragrances that I have seen out there. And my final verdict on this one is I like this scent. I think it's a really nice scent. I do find it to be pleasant. I think I need to spend a little bit more time with it in order for me to fall in love with it, but I do think that there's a tropical vibe in here that I would actually really like to smell when it's a bit hotter outside. Again, not dead of summer, but when it starts to get a little bit hotter outside, to almost put me in that vacation mindset. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate your viewership. That was my review of Vanilla Tobacco by Rirana. If you own or have tried this fragrance, I would love to know what you think. Leave a comment down below. And if you are new to this channel, if you took some value from this video, I would love it if you could support my channel by subscribing to it. All you need to do is click that red subscribe button in the corner. And this way, whenever I do upload future fragrance-related content, it will get delivered straight to your feed, and you never need to worry about missing any of my future uploads. And that, of course, includes reviews just like this one, top 10 videos, giveaways, unboxings, special guests, interviews, and a whole lot of other fragrance-related content. Thanks again for watching. I love you guys. We'll see you in the next episode.